the most cost-effective yet delicious cut of meat that you could recommend? What would you recommend asking for? Do you have like a poor man's version of a ribeye that you could recommend?
The secret weapons. Hi, babe.
Hi! We just got 2 full bags of butcher-approved cheap meats.
I'm all about saving money, honey, but I gotta say I've never seen most of these things before.
We're going to be trying, cooking, taste testing, all of it together. I'm going to share snippets of me asking these butchers questions, so many hacks, money-saving tips, and also how to get a carnivore staple for free. Keep watching for all the money-saving tips, what we got, how we cook it, and the taste test reveal. First stop is Bob's Quality Meats in Seattle. So I'm at Bob's Meat with Michael. As a butcher, what is your favorite meat to enjoy?
I think I cook pork shoulder more often than any other cut of meat that there is.
For us meat lovers and carnivores, what's the most cost-effective yet delicious cut of meat that you could recommend?
I would go back to pork shoulder for that exact reason. One of the best value in terms of flavor for $1, gives you the most for your money. That's why I enjoy it so much.
How do you cook pork shoulder?
It can be done a lot of different ways. You can use it in like stews or carnitas. You can cook it as a whole roast and like have it hot that evening and then have leftovers for sandwiches or tacos the next day.
Do you cook it in an Instant Pot or stovetop?
Most often I roast it in the oven. I like to start off at a high heat, like 425 for just a half an hour to get it browned and seared on the outside.
Awesome.
And then turn the heat way down to 300 and put a lid on the roasting pan if you got it so that it'll kind of steam in its own juices and get real tender.
Nice.
And then you let it go for a real long time. The specific time is going to be dependent on the size of the roast, but you want to do at least a couple of hours. If you're doing a whole one, maybe 3 hours, but if you're doing a cut piece, then 2 hours.
Okay, and then you just cut it after it's done cooking. You enjoy
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You can season it a lot of different ways, just depending on your taste and what the accompaniment.'s gonna be.
Pork shoulder is a cut of meat that comes from the shoulder region of the pig. It is extremely flavorful and very well marbled, which contributes to its tenderness and rich taste when cooked well. I got this pork shoulder from Bob's Quality Meats for just $5.49 per pound, but I have seen it as low as $3 per pound at local grocery stores. So this is an incredibly budget-friendly yet delicious and easy to cook cut of meat. I will be cooking it exactly the way Tyler recommends at the end of this video with a taste test and review. What's the cheapest cut of steak that you could recommend?
Flat iron is the cheapest steak that I think is still going to be a good steak. Like there's some other cuts that are labeled as steak, but I don't really think they're good. Like fried quickly is just kind of a thin slice of cheap stew meat. Flat iron is underpriced on account of being a lesser known cut, and it also doesn't have as uniform of a thickness from one side to the other. I'm not bothered by it.
Do you offer beef fat trimmings here?
Yeah, they're $2 a pound for just straight beef fat.
Could I maybe get like a big bag, like 2 pounds of beef fat trimmings?
Sure thing.
Perfect. And I'm so happy that I was able to score beef fat trimmings for just $1.99 per pound. If you're a high-fat carnivore as well and you are sensitive to butter, suet and beef fat trimmings is an amazing anti-inflammatory option to keep your carnivore lifestyle high-fat. I personally love to eat it raw, straight out of the bag, but you can also air fry it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes for an amazing crunchy, crispy fat snack. Let me know if you enjoy beef fat trimmings or suet as well. So I am at B&E Meats and Seafood, and I'm here with John. What are some budget-friendly beef cuts that you could recommend?
You can get bottom round. Can be good, you know. Sometimes you can do like a little silver side roast. Bottom round roast is pretty versatile.
Nice.
Sometimes you can, you know, hammer them out or put them in a cuber and do like a country fried steak. It's one of the more versatile cuts, so you could do anything from like a stew cube to roasting it up to rare or medium.
Awesome.
And just letting it rest really good.
Yeah.
You know, you can also cut it into a piece and then, you know, hammer it out bigger and roll it up like a little beef roll with the bottom round. And then the ground meat is probably the most popular thing. Everybody loves hamburgers.
What is ground beef made out of? Like, what cuts of meat is it?
So our house grind's going to have short rib, ribeye, New York, any of those kind of things are going to go in with the chuck. And we're going to grind it up.
For steaks, of course, ribeye New York strips, so expensive. Do you have like a poor man's version of a ribeye that you could recommend?
The secret weapon's the chuck eye steak.
Yeah, chuck eye steak.
But we don't really offer it very much because you get a very small yield off your whole chuck. And so,
So you would have to get the whole chuck primal and then cut it yourself.
yeah, I mean, it's possible to do. We have a couple of our favorite customers that they'll give us enough notice and we can get one out for them.
If somebody were watching this video and they want to know how to word it to ask their local butcher, do you just say, hey, can you save me the chuck steak?
Chuck eye steak.
The chuck eye
Because
steak.
a chuck steak's going to be the whole thing. If you get the eye, it's kind of like the ribeye follows up into the shoulder, and so they can take out the middle of it, and it's kind of still the same meat as the ribeye, but up into the shoulder.
I wanted to just clarify and summarize what I learned. The left side is a chuck steak. The right side is the chuck eye steak. That's the marbled, beautiful rib eye alternative that we are looking for. It is budget friendly. It is the most tender, marbled, and delicious cut of steak. Whereas the left side, the chuck steak, is better suited to cook as a roast. It's going to be leaner, tougher. It's not going to taste nearly as delicious as that chuck eye steak when you sear it like a ribeye. You did mention to me that there is a pork cut that is cheap and something that you love to cook.
We got a skin-on pork shank, but they do take a little bit longer to cook than some things because it's a shank, so you got to cook it till it's tender.
How would you cook this?
Etch the skin a little bit.
Yeah.
With the diamond cut in it. Just salt does good for a lot of things for me, and then I'll go more versatile when I'm serving it.
Yeah, but just
Dry so
ballpark.
it gets crispy golden.
At what temperature?
It doesn't really matter as long as you get there. You're not going to want to go super hot. So anything
Okay.
under 350, 325, 300, 350.
Okay.
Depending on how hungry you are. And then
okay.
you're just trying to get it to where it's golden, crispy, the
Uh-huh.
skin's all crackled and your meat's ready, tender.
And then after you bake it, you just eat it. You don't have to do anything else?
Yeah, I mean, you cut it with a knife and
Yeah.
it's got a crunch from the skin. So that's kind of one of the things I've been enjoying.
When I lived in New York, I was able to score like beef fat, beef suet, beef fat trimmings, sometimes for free, sometimes for very cheap. Would you be willing to give me any scraps today?
I could probably find something back there.
Okay, cool.
Got a little beef suet here.
Perfect.
This should be good. I heard you air fry it. Do you salt it before you
Yes, I
air fry
do
it,
air
or do you
fry.
salt it after?
I personally just enjoy it without any salt.
No
and
salt,
seasoning.
huh?
It is delicious when it's like nice and crispy, but a lot of carnivores like to salt it and season it as well.
It's kidney fat. They pull it off, the fat from around the kidneys.
Here's another pro tip. I've tasted lots of suet, which is the fat around the kidneys, versus just beef fat trimmings. And I personally feel like beef fat trimmings has a much more neutral and palatable taste than suet. So if you can get your hands on suet like I did today with John for free, and you can get a big hunk of it, I would take it home, render it down so that it becomes tallow, and store it in a glass mason jar. When you do that, it will last up to 3 months in your fridge, and you can use it as cooking oil, topping, or just a fat snack that you can enjoy chilled or at room temperature. This is such a great way to maintain that high-fat carnivore lifestyle for dirt cheap, if not for free. And the two budget-friendly gems that we found here were ground beef for $3.99 per pound and skin-on pork shanks for $3.99 each. We are currently at LJ Meats with Tyler. What is your personal favorite cut of meat to enjoy?
There's a bunch of cuts. I'm a big fan of hanger steak,
Nice.
terrace majors, and my all-time fave is a zabuton. Zabuton, otherwise known as a Denver cut, it's a clam-shaped muscle about this big, probably 3.5, 4 pounds, that sits underneath the shoulder blade. There's so many gems, Delmonico's, terrace majors, the zabuton. So what happens is that muscle just sits underneath the shoulder blade and does nothing, almost like a tenderloin.
Right.
Everything around it is moving and working.
Okay.
So what that does, it lends this beautiful meat protein structure and intermuscular marbling.
A lot of my viewers, they don't live here. They want to go to their local butcher shop and find that cost-effective cut of meat. What would you recommend asking for?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
There's a few questions that you want to throw out there right off the bat. Number
Okay.
one, have you been to the farm? Ask your butcher. And they'll be like,
Yeah.
well, it's down the road over there, right? But that'll tell you right off the bat if this person is telling you straight up the truth or not.
Yeah.
If you're talking cost efficiency, sometimes it's because it's been in the case a little bit too long and it's going to be one of those blowout prices like, hey, I'll give you a deal on this.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for that. Ask that butcher those questions, like what are your favorite cuts? Because we're kind of blue collar guys, we don't make a ton of money, and there's cuts in the animal itself that are specifically known as the butcher's cut, like the terrace majors. We call that the butcher's tender. A lot of people don't really know about that cut, but it's unbelievable. Ask your butcher honest questions and hopefully get honest answers.
What's your favorite way to cook a good steak?
Old school, pan seared, butter, baste it, toss it in the oven, slow roast it, let it rest. I mean, that's my all-time favorite. Old school pan-seared cast iron, brown butter.
Amazing.
Doesn't get any better than that. That's my
Agreed.
favorite.
Absolutely.
Beef
Yeah.
is healthy for you. A lot of people get that
Of course.
misconception
Yeah.
of like, I can't eat beef all the time because my doctor says it's bad for you.
Right.
Wrong. Eat good meat and you're good.
We're gonna go through exactly what we got from our butcher haul. I'm gonna start from cheapest to most expensive. This right here was free. Do you remember what this was called?
Suet?
That's right.
That's a special term because actually it's not just any fat, specifically the fat surrounding the kidney.
Surrounding the kidneys, exactly. Right here, perfect. We were also able to find local ground beef for the cheapest I've ever seen it. Tell them how much it costs.
$3.99. No, it's $3.99. But still, pretty good price.
Really good price. You really never know what type of prices you're gonna get at your local butcher shops. A lot of times you get cheaper than local grocery store prices. Now, what is this?
This is boneless pork shoulder butt.
Boneless pork shoulder butt.
Raw pork shank, guys.
Exactly. So we're gonna be cooking these right now together. Tyler recommended the pork butt. John recommended the pork shank. And we're gonna show you exactly how we cook it based on the butcher's direction. So we're gonna start the pork butt in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're gonna pop in the pork shank and bring down both to temperature of 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And the final thing we got,
Beef fat trimming.
exactly. So what is the difference between beef fat trimmings and suet? Suet is just the fat cut off from the kidneys. Trimmings is just whatever beef scraps that they end up collecting. Fat trimmings off of a brisket cut. It could be beef fat trimmings from anything, but it's not specifically the kidney. Do a taste test together of it raw. Let's first smell it. Oh wow, it smells really fresh.
So strong.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm about that life, babe.
Okay, this here's what it looks like. Oh, this is a better chunk. This is what the suet chunk looks like right here. So as you can see, it kind of has like a waxy candle-like texture and consistency. So let's try it.
When we lived in New York, she would eat that all the time.
Raw too. Big piece, but you don't have to
There's a
eat it
big
all.
piece.
I actually still love the flavor of this. It's so good.
Kind of tastes like prosciutto.
It's definitely very waxy, but the flavor is so nice and
It's actually
subtle.
not bad.
Yay! He likes it.
I thought it was gonna be gross.
It's actually really good. Let's go upstairs and cook the porks, yeah?
Can't wait for you to do all the cooking. That's what I
Yes.
meant.
We will start off by cooking our pork shoulder as suggested by Tyler from Bob's Quality Meats, and we're going to preheat our oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the oven reaches 425, we will be placing our pork shoulder in first, and we're going to cook it for a total of 30 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit. We then prepared the pork shank as suggested by John, and we cut diamond-shaped cuts into the skin. John says this will really help the skin cook through, get crispy and golden. This is also a good time to rub your favorite seasonings or salts onto the pork shank, but we decided to just cook both plain and seasoned salt to preference after it cooked. After 30 minutes of cooking at 425 for the pork shoulder, we will bring down the temperature to 300 degrees Fahrenheit to cook both the pork shank and the shoulder for exactly 2 hours. While we wait, just wanted to share a tip for anyone who's new to the carnivore diet. If you are experiencing any types of symptoms like fatigue, headaches, muscle cramping, just salt your meals a little bit heavier. If salting heavier does not work, I do highly recommend this electrolyte supplement from Element, specifically the blue raw unflavored one. These are clean because there's no stevia, flavorings of any kind, just sodium, potassium, and magnesium in these electrolyte supplements. This is what the little supplement packets look like. Super small, handy. You can just pack them and bring them on the go wherever you are. Rip one open, pour it in your beverage, mix it up, drink it down, and you are good to go. If you guys would like a free sample pack with any purchase, and it does include the raw unflavored, just go to the URL shown on the screen, drinkelementi.com/SBGAL, or click the links down below in the description box. So here's the finished product of both straight out of the hot piping oven, and it's a little burnt at the edges because I did do a finish with a 10-minute high broil. I would not broil for 10 minutes. I would keep it to 5 minutes maximum. So just learn from my mistake. But Oh my goodness, it is so deliciously browned, crispy. You just gotta hear the sound when I tap the skin. Whoa, look at that. So nice. We're gonna do a taste test together. It's finally done. It took 2 hours to cook. Pork butt. It looks so incredible. I'm gonna feed steak and butter guy first. Nice crispy piece. This is Tyler's recipe.
Okay.
It looks amazing. It looks
pretty
like
good.
Chinese braised pork. Okay.
It's actually really good.
The inside, as you can see, is so tender.
Wow.
He cooked it just like how Tyler taught us. This looks incredible. Look at that. It was kind of burnt.
So dramatic.
Oh my god, it's so good. The fat is amazing. Okay, this is his bite right here. Look at that gorgeous glisten.
Glistening all over our sheets now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's good, right?
It's like really good. What is that?
This
Hog?
is pork shank. It's a German dish. It's a very popular German dish. It is so good. This is amazing.
It's actually really, really good.
It's so freaking good, guys. This is amazing.
You know, I want that piece.
No?
No, I want that piece.
No.
I want that piece.
Thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the tips, the recipes, everything that we learned today. If you guys are new to the carnivore lifestyle and you would love to join a community that supports you, that is passionate about this diet, and that is off social media, I welcome you all to join the Steak and Butter Gang. Simba here absolutely loves the carnivore lifestyle. I do 30-day carnivore challenges with all of my favorite carnivore doctors, experts, and coaches every single month. January is World Carnivore Month. No better time to spend 2024 with an amazing community, an amazing team of coaches and doctors to help you get to your goals for health, healing, and weight loss. To join the community, you can just go to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or check out the links down below in the description box. I am happy to invite you all to join the Steak and Butter Gang forum for free, as long as you follow the directions down below in the description box. To see more of me, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, X. All of my socials are linked down below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe to my channel to not miss my future videos. I'll see you in my next video. SBG out.